All right. Hello. Okay. Hello. Welcome back to the podcast. As always, thank you for taking the time out of your day to join me for today's episode. We have a very special guest, as always, this time being Mr. Raiz, who was my sophomore AP Bio teacher. Yeah, so 2 years ago. Time flies. But, anyways, very special guest. Great teacher, wonderful teacher. So yeah, hope you enjoy. So hello, Mr. Raiz.
Samuel, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Obviously, I didn't have you this year, but I had you last year for AP Bio. And so, do you want to maybe introduce yourself as to what
Absolutely.
you do here?
My name is Paul Raiz. I am a biology teacher at LHS. I teach this year or last couple of years honors bio for freshmen and AP bio for the upperclassmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors.
Do you prefer one over the other?
I really enjoy them both. I
Okay.
think they're both unique. I love having the freshmen, kind of whip them into shape and teach them how to be high school students, hopefully have a love for learning or at least increase their love for learning in biology and science. And then the AP Bio, obviously, you get a student that is hopefully driven, wants to take the course for any number of reasons, maybe to increase their bio knowledge, future career, or major in college. And you can do a lot with them, obviously, more labs, more in-depth conversations, discussions. So
Yeah,
I
of
like them
course.
both.
Yeah. And with, I guess, the school year coming to an end now, obviously, how many days are we from the end of school?
Close,
Like
2 or
4
3,
days?
right?
Yeah, exactly. And they're half days. But yeah, do you have any plans for the summer? Are you excited for the end of the school?
I'm very excited. Bittersweet. I have a senior that's graduating, so my oldest son is graduating high school.
Wow.
So going through all the milestones with him is cool, and obviously also like lasts and firsts coming up. So
Yeah.
he's going to University of Richmond in the fall.
Wow. Congrats.
Doesn't know what he wants to major in yet. Maybe bio or maybe ethics, economics, something like that. So we'll see. But his last soccer games and graduation and prom and things like that, so that was
Yeah.
kind of cool. But also, it's great to kind of be on the path with him as we go through it. We're going to take a big family vacation because that's something we do, and obviously a bigger one with him being his last, summer before college. So we are going to Iceland.
Wow.
So we're going to travel, most of the south of Iceland, the capital, do some snorkeling in between the continental divide, and walk on a glacier and see the puffins and things like that. So we're excited about that.
Have you ever been? Because
I have never been. No, never been. Didn't really know that I wanted to go. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it's a cool place, and we were interested. We thought maybe going to Africa and doing a safari. We thought maybe going to Greece, and it just ended up this was a trip we happened upon.
And looking back over this year, do you have any major takeaways, favorite moments?
I had really nice classes this year. I mean, I believe I have them every year, but the honors were a lot of fun. I had 3 honors classes that really came out of their shell.
Yeah.
We're not only good students, but we're a pleasure to teach, and we had some fun at the end of the year. First year we ever had honors bio parties after their last quiz, so that was
Wow.
neat. Got to sample some different food from different cultures and things like that. And my AP class was awesome. My AP class was fun to be with, hard workers, intelligent. They just made teaching, I think, easy, but also more enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I've been really lucky. The last couple of years, your classes, the year I took over for Miss Palula when she went on leave, I've had some really great students that I've gotten to know pretty well,
Yeah.
and have moved on to some great colleges and universities, and
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll be doing amazing things and be our doctors and lawyers and architects and such in the future. So
For sure.
it's exciting.
Yeah. Would you attribute some of that, not necessarily success, but like students stepping out of their shells, more of us returning back to somewhat normal, coming off COVID?
I'm sure, hey, COVID was tough. I think we try to downplay it a little bit as educators, saying, you're still students, but I think it was tough on the young people. I've seen it in both my boys, not, especially in the senior, like I said, not, being in class, or even when he was in class, other students weren't there. It really, I think, hampered you guys socially and emotionally. And then it did carry over to the classroom and learning. I think there's things that you guys have gaps in that you've had to overcome. But yeah, I think now we're starting to see, hopefully we're turning that corner.
For sure.
More social, more interaction, less behind masks and screens.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a good thing.
And outside of school, how was this year in general from September until now? Do you have any favorite non-school activities? Anything that
That's a
came
great
up?
question. No, just a lot of family time, which is good. So,
That's good.
over the holiday break, we went and did axe throwing, which I've never done that before,
Yeah,
but we had a
neither
lot
have
of
I.
fun as a family
Yeah, wow.
doing that. It was really neat. Did a little work in my basement, and we redid it, and kind of more of a rec room, fun area now.
Nice.
Watch movies and play ping pong and poker and stuff like that. No, just a lot of really, like I said, with the older guy and even the freshmen. My youngest is a freshman in high school, so he was experiencing high school for the first time,
Yeah.
playing sports. It was cool to see him on the field together for soccer, freshman and senior. So no, it was just good. It was a really good year, health and happiness. So hopefully
Yeah.
everyone else is enjoying that as well.
That's good. Kind of pivoting now to your journey as a teacher. I should say. I almost said student, but when did
Teacher's
you-
always a student.
Okay, yeah. When did you decide, I guess, to become a teacher? And was there a specific turning point, specific time?
Absolutely. So through high school and college, I thought I was going to be a doctor, something I wanted to be, an anesthesiologist, something I had my eyes set on. So in college, I was a bio major, a chemistry minor, a little bit of physics, English minor as well. So I kind of want to be a little diverse. I always had a love for that. And I was heading to med school, my junior, senior year, taking the MCATs
Yeah.
and setting up interviews with colleges. And I was just about to start the interview process, trying to see if I can get into some med schools. And my wife now of 21 years almost, we were dating in college since our freshman year. And we were literally in the Short Hills Mall of all places because I went to Drew and we both from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And she looked at me and she said, "You really don't want to go to med school, do you?" 'Cause she kind of saw that I was hesitant and maybe not following through on everything I should be doing.
Had you realized it at that point?
I don't believe I had. I knew I had other interests. I was always a substitute teacher during my breaks from college. I was a TA in college. I tutored people all the time.
Yeah.
In early bio classes and stuff like that. And I think she saw in me. She's from a family of teachers, so I think she saw in me that there was something else I wanted to do, and it
Yeah,
was teaching.
for sure.
And she opened my eyes to it, and I ran with it. I loved helping students. I loved seeing that moment where people get it.
Yeah.
And I also, coaching has been a big part. Other than the last couple of years where I, stepped down to watch my own boys play and not
Yeah.
miss that. Coaching was a big part of it. And it's something I could do as a teacher, and I would never be able to do, as a doctor, at least
Yeah,
early on as a doctor.
sure.
So, that's been a big part of me, and I think that was when I finally, realized that this is the career path I wanted to take.
Yeah, for sure. And if you hadn't decided to become a teacher, would you see yourself as a doctor, maybe pursuing medicine or?
Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
think that was another passion of mine. Love biology. Love seeing how the body works. Even in AP Bio now, where we don't teach that many systems
Right.
anymore like it used to be. I've done anatomy and physiology in the past, and I just love teaching about the different systems and the interconnections and the workings and
Yeah.
diseases and how things break down. So I think that might have been what I did.
For sure, for sure. But do you ever regret becoming a teacher?
Not a day in my life.
Alright,
No, I absolutely love this job. I
Of
think
course.
my wife is sometimes jealous. She's not. She's the only one that's not a teacher in the entire family. But I think she realizes I literally go to work to have fun. I have great colleagues that I enjoy being with, whether it be the coaches or guys at lunch or the men and women I work with in the science department, amazing supervisor, admins. And in my classroom, I get to kind of be who I am.
Yeah.
A little bit funny, a little sarcastic, but also, being able to open up minds and help people to see things, understand things better than they once did. And most importantly, I think teachers are about trying to ignite that fire and passion.
Yeah.
So if I can help you be a better learner, and if that includes biology or science, then I've done my job.
For sure, for sure. And I guess can you provide some insight into the path you took to becoming a teacher? Obviously, you made your decision, but then from there, kind of the steps that you took to end up here.
Absolutely. So as an undergrad at Drew University, I had no education courses. My major, like I said, was biology. I had chem, I had physics, I had my English minor, but nothing to do with education. Never stepped in a classroom, never really formally learned how to do anything. So basically what I told myself is I'm going to do it the right way.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to grad school and I'm going to learn to be a teacher. So between graduating college and going to grad school, I actually had a long-term subbing position in the middle school that I went to, my home district. So I did a 7th grade life science class for maternity leave. So I did it from January through the end of the year. A lot of fun. Realized I never wanted to teach middle school kids. They're crazy, especially the girls were off the wall. But they were fun. But it was different. I wanted to get a little bit more into the depth of the content. So I applied to Boston University. Actually followed my wife because she had already applied and gotten in for her bioethics program. She works in pharmaceuticals, so she's a biology person as well. And I got into their, I think I applied to BU, Tufts, and Boston College, and decided on BU. Their education program was top notch, and it was amazing. It was half the courses in your major bio, so I took graduate level biology courses as well as half your courses in education, learning to be a teacher. A lot of time in classroom. So every semester you were either observing, participating, and then I got to do my student teaching in Beverly, Massachusetts. It's up on the North Shore, north of Boston, and I had an awesome cooperating teacher. She was an AP Bio teacher as well, honors bio, CP bio. So I got to see it all and got to participate in all of it. So that was one of the best things that have ever happened to me. My professor, who is my advisor at BU, was great as well. I still use actually some of his stuff when it comes to content and activities. So it was a good decision, and I think it got me to where I am today.
Nice. And when, as a teacher, would you say you're at your best, or when you're the most proud?
Most proud is seeing the students succeed. So obviously, while the teacher is sometimes the center of attention, putting on a show, they say, or really getting students to truly understand and be engaged in the content, it's really when the students take that next step. And I think that's something that, even as, whether you want to consider me a seasoned teacher, a master teacher, I'm still not there yet. It's still to have the students take ownership and drive the course is the ultimate goal. And it can't be all the time. I don't think realistically every lesson, but in certain lessons or activities, if the student can take ownership and really drive the learning, that would be the goal. That would be the pinnacle.
And what would you say is the best part of your job?
Every day interacting with students. They amaze me. I'm fortunate. I'm sure other districts are like this, but in Livingston, I thank my lucky stars every day that I've come here to work with amazing people, to work with amazing students and families that care about learning and take it as a priority. And they make me laugh every day, drive me nuts sometimes, but that's the fun part of it. And I really enjoy what I do. It's the interaction with the students, 100%.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, what would you say is the worst part of your job?
The worst part, and I think unfortunately many teachers would say this, and maybe even in this district, it's all the other stuff you have to deal with.
Right.
Whether it be paperwork from the state or hoops you have to jump through. And listen, I understand that a lot of it, is making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the trainings we have to go through, not necessarily for being teachers, but it's the other stuff. And it's gotten more and more, unfortunately. And I think that's really, it's a sad state, because I think it is driving away good people.
For sure.
Who truly love doing this job and do it very well, but maybe they can't see themselves doing it for this many more years. I'm on the other side of the career. I saw you had, obviously, Dr. Jones and Mr. Cuneo. I think we're all kind of there in terms of we're in the twilight, whether it be a couple years or whether it be 5 or 10 more years left. I think we can deal with it, and it's because we love what we're doing so much.
Yeah.
It's not great, but it is what it is, and we can live with it. But I think it's that. I think if we can get rid of some of that nuisance and some of those things you have to do to check off a box, then we would all be better for it, mentally especially.
For sure. And then obviously, being before teaching, or interested in teaching, obviously pursuing medicine, and then I guess, obviously, and then going into biology or teaching biology. Have you considered teaching maybe a different subject versus?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I joke with some of my students that I was a math nerd. Math came easy to me, to the point where I skipped grades in math and finished the math curriculum in Mahwah High School.
Wow.
What was it, my sophomore, junior year, something like that. Calc BC was the highest you could take.
Yeah.
So I actually carried 8 credits of calculus into college from Seton Hall Prep. We had a dual credit enrollment, I guess, class like they say now. But it was just something that came easy to me.
Yeah.
It was something that I understood. When I saw it, I got it. But it was something I was passionate or loved. So I could not see myself teaching it, even though probably one of the best, greatest teachers I ever had was my math teacher that I had for 3 different years. And he inspired me to be a teacher, but I didn't think I wanted to be a math teacher.
For sure.
Nothing against the math teachers.
Back in, Um, yeah, what kind of impact as a teacher do you want to have on your students?
I hope we have an impact. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, there's way more important things than learning content. I understand that. Unfortunately, I don't know what the percent is. 50%, 75% of the stuff that I'm going to teach you, you may never use, right? Yeah. Especially even if you go into a different aspect of science, engineering, whatever it may be, or you have nothing to do with science in your careers. So I think really, to help you mature as a person, as a student, as a learner, right? I use that, I think, before, a lifelong learner. Mm-hmm. And that's a lifelong learner about everything, about who you are, about how to interact with people, about you guys have all the information you could ever hope and dream at your fingertips on your phones and your computers, right? Sure. So us giving you all the content, I think that's probably the biggest evolution I've taken as a teacher is, yes, I can fill you with content or help you to better understand it, but I get that you have it at your fingertips. You can look it up in a fraction of a second. But it's what do you do with it, right? How do you conduct an experiment, right? How do you answer questions? And really, I think that's kind of where we've tried to gear or focus our classes, especially bio and AP bio. Right? I have this question. How can I get more information on it? Or I want to see if this theory or this hypothesis is true. What can I do with it? Yeah. And I think if we can do that, then you will be successful in life. And I think, yes, ultimately, if you guys are successful, parents number one, but if the teachers were a part of that, then I'm happy, and I think we've done our job.
And do you think you've had that type of impact on your students?
I hope so. I really do. I know when students come back, whether it's their first year or 10 years later or down the road when we're Facebook friends or whatever, even, my athletes a lot. Sometimes I'll have a little more because we spend so much time with the athletes. Yeah. They come back and tell me about their families and their kids and what they're doing, right? Yeah, that's really rewarding. Yeah. Who is, owning their own business, who's in med school, right? Who got their law degree, whatever path they chose to take, and then they tell me about it. Maybe I had a little part in that, or just seeing, them taking their next step. And I think as a parent, you want that, right? You want your kids to be better than you, right? More successful than you, whatever that means, happy, right? And I think a little part of us as teachers feels like you guys are our kids as well, right? Every year I'm lucky to get 60 to 80, 100 new kids, right? At least for a year, right? 10 months. And then, eventually, that you're going to do amazing things, and we could be a little part of that and be proud of that.
Yeah. We'll always remember you, Mr. Raiz.
Thank you.
And I guess as a teacher now, obviously someone who's been in teaching for so long, but also as someone who obviously started out as a student, right, going through high school, eventually college, grad school even.
Yep.
How do you view school now as a teacher compared to when you were a student?
It's a great question. I think as a seasoned teacher, one of the coolest but most eye-opening things that has happened to me in the last 5 to 10 years is having a high school student as my kid.
Right, yeah. Also
so when Jack entered high school and now Gavin, seeing it from their lens. Now college, right? And I think a lot of times as parents, we want to use our experiences to help them, right? And make decisions for them or help them to find their decisions or whatever it may be. And I think it's helpful to a degree only. I think things have changed, right? I'm old enough to know now, that college was 20 plus years ago for me, right? High school, now we're even talking further than that, right? 30 plus years. And it's different. Technology, number one, right? Off the charts, how different it is. Your phones, your computers, how you get information, how you interact with the world, good or bad, right? I'm not even, trying to say whether it's good, bad, right, or wrong. It's different. So now I think I've realized, especially the last year and a half with college decisions and, where is Jack going to go and how he's going to decide and what's going to happen with Gavin, it's more like, all right, this is what happened to me, but you're in a totally different scenario situation. Right. But can we use a little bit of that experience, but not, think it's the same way, because it's not. And as you guys sit in classrooms, high school onto college, it is different. It is totally different. And that's hard. That's something that we have to understand and process and figure out.
Yeah, for sure.
And I haven't figured it out yet. but I'm trying.
No worries. And yeah, obviously you've been asking questions for 20 minutes now. I mean, I've been asking you questions for 20 minutes now. But
This is cool.
yeah, I want to open up the floor, maybe for you too, if you want any questions or you have any questions for me. Maybe I.
So
can
how was your last year?
Yeah.
So that's on. How was your year this year?
My year's, I think, very fruitful.
Good.
Obviously, that carries on into the summer with me eventually going on to do research. But yeah, I really enjoyed my classes. Obviously, I didn't have you as a teacher, which was super
I'm
unfortunate.
sure you had some awesome ones.
No, I didn't. Definitely, all my teachers were great. But yeah, I was able to really expose myself even to more topics, taking AP Chem, AP Physics. Never taken physics before, right?
Tough, right?
Yeah, it's. I don't enjoy it as much as bio and chem, but yeah, I think it's an
Good.
interesting class.
And then how's it set up your senior year then? What are you excited about?
Yeah, obviously I have apps over the summer, so that's gonna be a lot.
Mhm.
You know, your son went through it. I'm sure it is a lot. And then on top of all the stuff yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I think,
Enjoy the process.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lot. It's going to be frustrating at times, but don't let it just kind of go by without truly appreciate the moments.
Yeah, for
Because you
sure.
only get it once.
for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's a monumental step to go from high school to college. Yeah. Anything else?
No, I really appreciate you taking the time, Samuel.
Great.
This is
I
great.
have two closing or
Yep.
a couple closing questions.
Sure.
So if you could give yourself an important piece of advice to your younger self who's just about to enter high school. I know this is a while ago, but
Oh, thanks.
sorry. As a freshman,
Sure.
what advice would you give?
Try more things. I know you're focused. You think you know what you want to do. And I was a big athlete and science, math person, but maybe open up, try a few more things.
Yeah.
Put yourself out there. And get to know more diverse people earlier on.
Yeah.
I think by my maybe junior, senior year, I had a more eclectic group of friends, but
Yeah.
you kind of are in your little niche.
Niche,
Yeah, exactly. Your freshman year,
Bioterms.
coming from middle school, you have your clique, so to speak.
Yeah.
But definitely appreciate people for their diversity and what they can bring. I think sometimes that comes later. For me, it came more in senior year of college.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been, words of advice and wisdom that would have been even better.
What about some advice to yourself as a high school graduate entering college? Obviously, that's your son right now
Yeah.
at the moment, but yeah, what kind of advice?
Fall semester freshman year, do more work. Maybe not miss quite as many classes or sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a learning curve, right? You're on your own. Mom and dad, specifically mom, are not there to wake you up. You're playing soccer, so it is a lot of hard work and it's exhausting. But yeah, I would say get off on the right foot. Immediately becoming a bio major. I think I saw half to 2/3 of my bio class quit and give up. Obviously I made it and did well and figured things out.
Yeah.
As a high school student, I could get away with studying on my own.
Yeah.
As a college student, it took me maybe a semester to realize, use your peers, work with
Yeah.
your peers, study. And that, I think learning that a little earlier would have been beneficial.
And finally, I guess the last step, what advice would you give yourself as someone who is going through college, thinking about med school, but ultimately switching to teaching?
Stay open-minded. Yeah. Try a lot of things to figure out what you're good at, but more importantly, what you're passionate about. And I think I was fortunate with my wife's nudging and advice that I absolutely found what I was passionate about.
And last two questions. Are you satisfied with what you've accomplished as a teacher so far?
I think so. I think it's less about you. I mean, whether you get accolades or not, coaching, teaching, that's nice. And that's a recognition by your peers, which I think is awesome. But it's really about the students, right? It's all about the students. What's best for them? What are they getting out of it? And I like I said, I hope and believe that my students have gotten
For sure.
something important and beneficial out of our classes.
And are you happy?
Absolutely.
Wonderful.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Raiz.
Samuel, well done.
All right.
Thank you for doing this.